the day and on BC1, but right now I'm going to turn things over to Sonia.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Well, it is Pancreatic Awareness Month, and the message is assumptions can be deadly, and that is what we're talking about this morning. Michelle Capobianco, the Executive Director of Pancreatic Cancer Canada, and Brandy Parson and her daughter Viva are joining us today. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
I just want to get right into that. Assumptions can be deadly. What do you mean by that?
People assume that some of the vague symptoms that actually mean you have pancreatic cancer are nothing. So it's that vague pain between your shoulder blades, it's a slight feeling of nausea, slight tiredness. People assume those are nothing, and those are actually symptoms of pancreatic cancer.
And a lot of times they're recognized as being symptoms of a cold or a flu, you know, loss of appetite, fatigue, those sorts of things. Brandy, I know it's been a difficult past few years for you. Your husband passing away from pancreatic cancer in 2014. I know that it was a pretty quick moment from diagnosis to when he passed away, but what were some of the early symptoms that he saw?
He had just some pains in his abdominal area, and as he struggled with lactose intolerance but really loved pizza and ice cream, it wasn't alarming until one night it woke him up in the middle of the night. The pains were so severe, and at the time we thought maybe it was his gallbladder. And
then there was further testing, and what happened from there on?
So it was diagnosed pretty much immediately as being probable metastatic disease. He had multiple malignancies through his liver and his lymph nodes. It took about 3 weeks before they found the source was the pancreas. It was already stage 4, and they only gave him a few months to live.
My goodness, I mean, I can't imagine what your family has been through emotionally, and for him as well, you know, going from feeling relatively healthy to getting that type of news. You know, we hear the stats, pancreatic cancer, 93% mortality rate, it only receives 2% of funding nationally. What makes pancreatic cancer so deadly?
The deadliness comes about because most people, as in Brandy's husband's case, are not diagnosed till they're stage 4. They just don't see the symptoms early enough. GPs don't know what to look for often. They only see 1 or 2 cases in their lifetime. And so by the time it gets diagnosed, you're stage 4. And at that point, there's only a 7% survival rate.
So Brandy, we have people watching here this morning. What is the message that you want to get out there? What do you want people to watch out for?
It's not so much things people can watch out for. It's really, we really need help with funding the research for this, because my husband had just undergone, he was 40, he had just undergone a full physical with a colonoscopy, blood work, everything. It just wasn't detectable. I think that's the solution. By the time it's symptomatic, it's too late.
Interesting. So what do you hope more research will do in terms of learning more about the disease?
So early screening, there is right now no screening test for pancreatic cancer. There's no blood test you can take. There's simply no screening test, and that has to change. So we desperately need research funds for a screening test and for other treatment methods. Most treatment options haven't changed in 40 years.
That's remarkable. Now, I know that you're trying to get the message out about this, but you're also, you know, carrying on with your husband's legacy, and you have an interesting tradition. I know that you like to keep going year after year, and that was something that started when he was still alive, but you're still keeping on with today. What is that?
Just honoring his memory and his love of his daughter. You know, he wanted nothing more in this world than to have a child, and he was a stay-at-home dad, and just keeping his memory alive and the love he had for her, because she doesn't remember him. So,
well, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I know it's difficult to talk about, and you know, hopefully this interview that we're doing right now will get the word out to people to think about the disease, and you know, and to maybe donate. I think that's the biggest message right now, is to get those fundraising dollars up. Why is it that pancreatic cancer research is only getting 2% of funds?
Basically, we just don't have enough survivors. If you look at where breast cancer was 40 years ago, that's where we are right now. We just don't have the survivors speaking up. We have the families who are left, and in many ways they're survivors of pancreatic cancer as well. But we need more of them who are willing to speak up, and as you can see, it's hard. But people can donate. Our website is assumptionscanbedeadly.ca, and they can help make a difference.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back.